more showers by noon, isolated showers by 6 o'clock. I think most of the heavy rain is winding down, but not the coastal flood threat. We'll take a look at those exact high tide times for you coming up in your full forecast. Back to you.
Rev, thank you. As you touch upon coastal areas this morning, feeling the brunt of the storm system, we are talking about high winds, high tides, and also that heavy rain.
Yep, it is a mess out there. Today, New York's Brian Thompson beginning our team coverage from Ortley Beach, New Jersey. Brian?
Yeah, and I can tell you the gusts I've measured down here about 31 miles an hour is the highest. But I want to show you something. Look at this dune that we have right here. This is a man-made dune. Now, I want to bring you down to the other side of it. Oscar, my photographer, be careful as you come down the hill here. And you can see how thin this dune really is right now. This has been eaten away by the ocean during the last high tide last night when they put this up. Take a look at just right about a couple hundred yards up the shore from me. This is the site of the area around the Joey Harrison Surf Club, which was devastated by Sandy and finally torn down within the last year or so. But certainly Joey's was one of the more prominent victims of what has happened along the Jersey Shore from Sandy. And now, of course, the fear is what kind of damage we're going to get from here. That's why people are really anxious for a beach rebuilding project.
We need that Army Corps of Engineers to come in and put our dunes in. We fixed our houses, and here we are right back worrying again.
And so we've had over the last 24 hours or so, Toms River folks here in Ortley Beach, this is a part of Toms River, bringing in hundreds of truckloads of sand, dumping it around the area of Joey Harrison's. This is the most exposed area of Ortley Beach, Toms River, trying to hold back the ocean as best they can for this next high tide that we're expecting in a few hours. Let's go back now to a live picture, and you can see behind me now the surf is starting to come up here. As we see, we're still a few hours away from the high tide, and that's a concern. Look at this building right here. This apartment building, which has always been here, always been kind of prominent, sticking out into the ocean, but every time now they have to worry about it and wonder if this is going to be the time when it really takes the heaviest of blows. We can't say that it will, but that's why they're hoping against hope that they've been able to hold back a little bit of the ocean, at least here in Ortley Beach. Live in Ortley Beach, I'm Brian Thompson for Today in New York.
All right, Brian, thank you. High winds also a concern out on Long Island, and that's where Today in New York's Greg Sergel is continuing our team coverage live from Long Beach. Greg?
Well, Gus, the wind and rain has begun to pick up here in Long Beach, making this, as Rafi said, a day to stay indoors for everyone, maybe except surfers. They're out in force here in Long Beach this morning. As our camera moves out to the Atlantic, you see them reveling in waves that could be as high as 5 to 8 feet today. One of the surfers told me it's like Thanksgiving and Christmas rolled into one. One guy's Christmas is another guy's day to forget, however. This coastal storm's gusty winds and toppled trees, or has toppled trees and power lines all across Long Island. And we've also seen street flooding in a number of South Shore communities like Babylon. Fortunately, though, police say nothing too serious so far. However, there are a number of Long Islanders without power this morning. PSEG Long Island reporting close to 4,000 outages, most of them in Nassau County. The rough surf, wind, and rain has also limited ferry service today between the mainland and Fire Island, and that'll be enforced for the rest of this weekend. Erosion is also a big concern on that barrier island. But back here in Long Beach, the rough surf is, in the words of one surfer, just a beautiful thing.
In the water, you can kind of just sense the whole ocean is a little frustrated, a little angry. You just got to get some energy out.
Now, despite the surfers' joy today, most here in this city that was devastated by Sandy are really breathing a sigh of relief that Joaquin doesn't appear to be a threat to us. For everyone, 3 years is just too soon to have to begin thinking about dealing with another storm like that. We're live in Long Beach today. Greg Sergel for Today in New York.
All right, Greg, thank you. And of course, this morning, as we've been talking about, the Coast Guard is resuming its search for a missing cargo boat with 33 people on board, and that includes 28 Americans. It disappeared from radar as Hurricane Joaquin hit in the Bahamas. Overnight, that storm pummeled the islands, causing widespread flooding, destroying homes, and trapping some people inside. Now, of course, it's weakened to a Category 3, and it is finally moving northeast. Joaquin is headed toward Bermuda, where it's expected to pass by on Sunday night. And from the coastal storm here at home to Joaquin's track, you can follow severe weather anytime you need to, right on your smartphone. All you have to do is download the News 4 weather app. You can search WNBC on your iPad, your iPhone, or your Android.
We have an update now this morning on a rescue out of Jamaica Bay. 2 people who were pulled from the water there have passed away. They were among a group of fishermen whose boat capsized during last night's storms. Today in New York, Sheldon Dutez joins us live from Marine Park, Brooklyn with the latest. Sheldon?
And Gus, that boat capsized not too far away from where I'm standing. I've been in touch with the NYPD throughout the morning and found out that the 2 fishermen who died are Brooklyn residents, and they are 42 and 50 years old. Those 2 men and 3 other people were out in Jamaica Bay last night around 8:15 in the middle of this coastal storm. It was very windy out here last night, and the waves in the bay were as high as 10 to 15 feet. Well, their boat flipped over, and the group of fishermen plunged into the frigid, choppy water. One of them was able to swim to shore and walked through this wooded area here along the Brooklyn side of the bay and ended up in front of the NYPD Operations Center. He was able to flag them down to get some help, and the others were rescued. Now, this morning, police are holding off on releasing the names of the 2 people who died in this accident because they're still trying to get in touch with their family. As for the 3 fishermen who survived, Gus and Kerry, they are in stable condition this morning. Reporting live in Marine Park, Brooklyn, Sheldon Dutez, Today in New York.
Sheldon, thank you. It's 8:36 right now. Some other news to get to. A New Jersey priest has been arrested for allegedly pointing a gun at a child. Father Kevin Carter of St. Mary of Cortona Church in Little Ferry taken into custody yesterday. Bergen County prosecutors say that he pointed a Civil War musket at an 8-year-old boy before Sunday Mass 3 weeks ago. The Newark Archdiocese contacted police after one of the parishioners there came forward. Witnesses described the incident as a prank over football. Prosecutors say that Father Carter is a Giants fan, and this little boy, this 8-year-old boy, is a Cowboys fan.
That'll be the last person you probably think of to pull out a gun on a little kid over football.
There's no such thing as joking around with a weapon when you're dealing with, with an 8-year-old kid.
Or maybe ever. Father Carter, who is also the Little Ferry police chaplain, is charged with endangering the welfare of a child and aggravated assault.
The city's Department of Buildings says there were 3 complaints about 3 years ago over a Brooklyn elevator where a man lost his life, but nothing more recent. 37-year-old Iram Modan was visiting friends at an apartment building Friday on Hope Street in Williamsburg. Friends say the elevator malfunctioned as he was trying to get out of it, and he was crushed.
My roommates just rode the elevator about 15 minutes before it happened, so it's really scary.
Our lives depend on these technologies being safe.
Buildings Commissioner Rick Chandler says the elevator might have been overloaded before the incident. Right now, he says Modan's death appears to be a tragic accident, but the investigation does continue.
The flick of a cigarette caught on camera may have led to a damaging fire on Staten Island. Investigators say the man that you're about to see in the surveillance video appears to flick a cigarette in the direction of a building. Minutes later, that building, which housed the Staten Island Chamber of Commerce, goes up in flames. The fire did severe damage, and fire marshals there, would like to talk to the man in the video about it.
Coming up on Today in New York, we're getting new information about that deadly shooting at an Oregon community college. What we now know about the gunman and those who tried to stop him. Plus,
you know, everybody say they didn't do it, but I was there, so I know he ain't lying. I know he didn't do that.
Up next, New York's biggest I-team uncovers how a new witness may free an innocent man. And Raphael joining us with trivia.
That's right, Kerry. The Hamptons Film Festival is just around the corner, so we're testing your movie and Hampton knowledge today. Log on now. Trivia is coming up.
The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon is brought to you locally by Something Rotten, Broadway's hilarious new smash.
you mind holding my coat for me? Thank you.
Tonight's the night.
Hello, Michelle.
That was your Barack Obama?
Is it good?
No.
For Jimmy Fallon. Yeah. Huge. The Tonight Show.
America's sweetheart right here.
Weeknights on NBC. The Tonight Show, starring Jimmy Fallon on NBC for New York, is brought to you by Something Rotten, Broadway's hilarious new smash.
When it matters most, you want a new breed of medical center pioneering the latest breakthroughs in research. You want brilliant minds applying the freshest, most innovative thinking on a modern campus dedicated to cancer, cardiology, women, children, orthopedics, and the neurosciences. And you want it to be one of the nation's best. Because coming here should be one of the smartest decisions of your life. Hackensack University Medical Center. When it matters most.
My Jennings has all the right moves.
Well, it's gotta be right with a name like Jennings.
Rashad Jennings, star running back for the New York Giants.
Power reclining sofa.
Or power reclining console love seat, all with Bobopedic memory foam seating.
Definitely the best seats in the house.
Your choice, only $6.99 each.
Be sure to ask for the Jennings by name. Only available at Bob's Discount Furniture.
Proud to be the official furniture store of the New York Giants.
I'm Bobby Flay, and New York is my home. There's no place like it in the world. Come fall, I like to get a taste of everything the state has to offer. Like this famous winery nestled in the Hudson Valley, or the award-winning vineyards of Long Island. This Cooperstown brewery belongs in every beer lover's Hall of Fame. You can even try New York's exceptional cider and spirits. This fall, drink in the beauty of New York State. Plan your trip at iloveny.com. There's something for everyone.
Today's weather is brought to you by McDonald's. Stop into McDonald's for any size Hot McCafe coffee for just $1. McDonald's, I'm loving it.
The surf picking up in places like Long Beach. A live look there. Surfers happy, but people also very worried this morning along the South Shore and along the Jersey Shore about possible flooding. And we are keeping an eye on that at 8:41 here on Today New York. Good to be with you. Raph, where do we stand?
Well, this is really just the beginning of our coastal flood threat. It continues right through tomorrow. We have several high tide cycles to get through. But if you're not by the water, this storm is winding down over the next couple of days. So that's good news. If you're inland, we're going to see less and less rain and the winds gradually diminishing, especially after, say, midnight tonight. Starts to get a little better as you head into Sunday. But today, this is our storm day, a day where it's great to stay inside and just enjoy the heat, probably on for one of the first times this season so far. 49 degrees as you look at the GWE. Let's take a look at the latest advisories and warnings. We have coastal flood warnings in effect in these areas shaded in red. That's southern Nassau County, Middlesex, Monmouth, and Ocean counties. That's where we're expecting to see that moderate tidal flooding later on today between 12 and 1 o'clock. And then again tonight between midnight and 1 a.m. Those are going to be the spots to watch as the tides are rising. Coastal flood advisory in effect for New York City. We're going to see some flooding around here, but that's going to be minor. And also all these areas shaded in green, including Westchester, Fairfield, and Suffolk County, Northeast New Jersey. Minor flooding expected there. So what time are we talking about? Seaside Heights, moderate flooding around 12:19. East Rockaway Inlet, moderate coastal flooding at 12:33. And then we've got the minor flooding going on Bergen Point just after 1:20. And then later on towards 4:16 for Stamford, Connecticut, as you get into the Long Island Sound. Sound is always about 3 hours after your ocean high tide, expecting some minor flooding in Fairfield County. We also have a wind advisory in effect. That's through 6 o'clock today for these counties, Monmouth and Ocean, places like Seaside Park, Surf City, and also Long Branch, really getting pummeled by those winds today with gusts up to 50 miles per hour right through the afternoon. And we're seeing winds gusting up to 40 in some spots. Right now, your current wind gust 31 in Central Park. It is a nasty day. You're trying to hold on to that umbrella, probably not succeeding. 37 mile per hour wind gusts in the Hamptons. And of course, the wind and cool weather making it feel like 30s north and west of town. We have wind chills. Yes, we're talking about wind chills already. We're just talking about the hottest September ever. And now we're talking about 41 in White Plains, and it feels like 38 at this hour up in Newburgh. Here's a look at Storm Tracker. We have those showers moving through Orange County, Sullivan, Pike County. Not a lot of rain in the city. Some light rain and drizzle, but it is gray. We're not going to get sunshine going on today. it's going to be a bit of a nasty day. Baseball forecast, well, the game should be okay because we're not dealing with heavy rain, but you will be chilled at Citi Field, 51 degrees, feeling like 40. So definitely plan on layering it up if you're going to be sitting there for a few hours with that drizzle and cloud cover. Not going to be a great day for baseball. 53 for your high for today. Temperatures hover in the 50s overnight tonight. Back to the 60s tomorrow. Slow improvement, maybe some sunshine by the end of the day, and it's still windy tomorrow, but it gets less breezy as the day goes on. You want to stay up to date with this coastal storm with the News 4 New York app. Tap the News 4 logo in the corner, scroll down and select the weather tab. You can see the latest forecast, interactive radar, and how to submit your own weather video. The News 4 New York app for iPhone is available in the App Store right now. Gus, over to you.
And right now on Today in New York, an I-Team exclusive. We go behind bars to speak with the convicted murderer who may have gotten the break of a lifetime. A new witness now coming forward claims the wrong man's in prison.
Yeah, this is actually yet another case linked to a retired detective who's been at the center of several convictions either overturned or now in question. So the Brooklyn DA's office now confirms it's reviewing the conviction of this man. This is 34-year-old Nelson Cruz. He's serving a life sentence for a 1998 murder in East New York. The I-Team's Sarah Wallace shows us what she's uncovered.
34-year-old Nelson Cruz has now spent more than half of his life in prison. He was 16 when he says he willingly went to the 75th precinct in East New York, Brooklyn, to answer cops' questions about a street murder.
I've been in here since a kid, since day one, since I went from the precinct to Rikers Island.
In this exclusive jailhouse interview at Greenhaven Prison in Stormville, New York, Cruz told me his life changed when a detective named Louis Scarcella walked into the room.
What did Detective Scarcella want you to do?
He tried to get a confession out of me at the precinct, and when I refused to sign it, he became frustrated, crumbled the paper and slapped me in my face with it. He was telling me, listen, you just sign the paper and you will go home. I said, I'm not signing anything.
Scarcella's attorney denies that incident ever happened and claims the detective never took a statement from Cruz. According to these internal NYPD police reports, Scarcella and his partner did interview two police officers who happened to be on the street at the time of the murder. They indicate there was a different suspect. One describes a male Hispanic with a ponytail pointing a black gun and then a muzzle flash. The reports say the ponytailed man then dropped the gun and was handcuffed at the scene.
Did you ever have a ponytail?
No, never had a ponytail.
Cruz's attorney.
Scarcella and his partner get to the precinct and everything changes. No longer is this individual who they arrest on the street with the murder weapon, he's no longer the suspect.
Cruz was suddenly charged and convicted after one witness identified him. He claims his alibi witnesses were never interviewed, and at the time, no one ever found William Harding Jr.,
And I was right there.
who now says he was a witness to the murder.
The killer was right in front of you.
It's a fact.
He took us back to the East New York neighborhood where he lived and left after watching his friend die on the street.
The tall Spanish guy with the long ponytail fired, and I'm saying, I don't know, 3-4 shots at him or whatever.
You saw the shooting.
I saw it with my own eyes. It was right there.
Harding says he never knew about these police interviews, which seemed to independently corroborate his account of the ponytailed shooter who was arrested by cops.
The police jumped out the car, freeze, drop your weapon. He put his hand in the air, dropped the gun. You know what I'm saying? They got the gun, they arrested him. I was there, and it wasn't Nelson Cruz.
What are the chances of this? A few years later, Cruz and Harding, who'd been convicted of a weapons charge, ended up not only in the same prison, but on the same yard. They started sharing their stories.
He was asking me, you know, what you locked up for?
When he said it was the murder of my friend, I'm like, I know you ain't do that murder because I seen who did the murder.
What was going through your mind?
I froze for a minute. My eyes got watery, to tell the truth, when he told me that.
Harding recently told his story to investigators in the Brooklyn DA's office.
Weapon right here on the floor.
Spearheading the effort to free Cruz, Derek Hamilton, now a paralegal working with attorney Scott Bretschneider on wrongful conviction cases. Hamilton is one of 6 men who've had their convictions reversed since the Brooklyn DA's office began reviewing Scarcella-connected cases. For the first time, Nelson Cruz has hope.
I'm just praying to God that they see I ain't commit the crime and I gain my freedom any day.
That was Sarah Wallace reporting. Now, Scarcella declined an interview about the Cruz case. His attorney maintaining he did not participate in any identification procedure, did not recover physical evidence, and didn't testify at the trial. So far, the DA's office has re-investigated 35 Scarcella-connected convictions, reversed 6, let 29 stand. 37 additional cases, though, have been accepted for review.
Well, still ahead on this Saturday morning, Produce Pete takes his show on the road.
Hey, good morning. I'm at Donaldson's Farm in Hackettstown, New Jersey. And let me tell you one thing, farming is alive and well in New Jersey. And today, we're talking pumpkins.
It's SNL Premiere Saturday, a full night, starting at 8/7 Central.
Here's how it works.
First, go behind the scenes of 40 years with the SNL movie live from New York.
It really broke the mold in television. That's why you still hear everyone talking about that first cast.
Then it's a classic SNL, and later,
Oh my God.
it's the SNL season premiere with host and musical guest Miley Cyrus.
With or without clothes? We're not sure yet.
With clothes.
We'll see.
It's SNL Premiere Saturday, tonight on NBC.
Okay, so everyone is saying, hey, you gotta get Fios. But why? Why Fios? Well, Fios is a 100% fiber optic network, so you can get 100% out of all your devices. Whatever speed you need, Fios has it. So if you need more streaming for more devices, Fios gives you options with the fastest internet and Wi-Fi available, from 50 to 500 megs. And we're not just talking downloads, we're talking equal upload speeds too. You can upload your favorite videos up to 5 times faster than cable. Plus, with the Fios mobile app, you can view your entertainment at home or on the go. But the main reason to get Fios? We're rated #1 in customer satisfaction. Why Fios? Ultimately, that's why. Right now, get 50 meg Fios internet, TV, and phone starting at $79.99 a month, guaranteed for 2 years. Plus, get $350 back with a 2-year agreement. Get out of the past. Get Fios.
You see this look on my face? That's not anger, that's hunger. So I'm gonna have a snack to make me feel better. And once I do, you'll see a look of satisfaction and contentment blossom across my face. See? Now I feel better. Make your tummy happy. Your play.
State-of-the-art surgical treatments for vascular repairs, innovative solutions for complex heart rhythms, robotic surgery for valve replacement, groundbreaking research, transplants, award-winning nursing, 240 heart specialists, 13 cath labs, and 4 hospitals that don't miss a beat. Robert Wood Johnson Health System, leading the way to health.
It is October, and for many that means planning Halloween costumes and heading down to the pumpkin patch.
It does indeed. Produce Pete is here to help. He traveled to Donaldson's Farm in Hackettstown, New Jersey, with some tips on picking the perfect pumpkin.
Hey, good morning. Well, I'm here today with Greg Donaldson from Donaldson's Farm in Hackettstown, New Jersey. And today we're talking, what else? Pumpkins. I'm telling you, this is some really good farmer. We just took a whole tour of this place. It's absolutely beautiful. But what we're going to do now is we're going to go down to the pumpkin field, and I'm going to show you pumpkins, but not pumpkins like this. I'm going to show you huge pumpkins. So come on, and we'll shoot down to the pumpkin field, and we'll show you how they grow beautiful pumpkins. So I told you I'd come down and show you how the pumpkins grow. Now, these, of course, are the bigger pumpkins, you know. In fact, the record last year for a pumpkin this size was 2,085 pounds. That's over a ton. It's unbelievable. But these are the big ones. Now, you got to have a big car to take these home, or you got to have a big house to put them in front. You have to remember that they put these pumpkins in around, the seed goes in around the middle of May, and then usually it takes 90 to 120 days to get them. But I'm telling you, look at this. It's unbelievable. So we're going to go back up to the stand, and I'm going to tell you how to pick the perfect pumpkin. So we're back from the field, and this is the fruit. That's right. This is what the pumpkins, you know, we had the real big ones out there, which are the ones back there, if you can see them back there. But this is what the pumpkins look like. So I'm going to tell you how to pick the perfect pumpkin. I also want to tell you about Halloween. $6.9 billion being spent this Halloween. That's second to Christmas. It's, you know, it got to be a holiday. It's what it got to be. So when we're buying pumpkins, what you want to look for is always have that nice green stem. Remember, a pumpkin without a stem is like a Christmas tree without a star on it. Now, don't worry about the color, because pumpkins come in a lot of, you see white pumpkins, you see orange pumpkins, you see green pumpkins, you see a lot of different pumpkins. But when you see a pumpkin with a little green tint on it, what you want to do is you want to leave it in a cool place, and what's going to happen is it's going to turn more orangey, and that's what's going to happen to it. So we want a pumpkin, nice stem, number one. Remember that pumpkins have a flat side, because we saw, like when we were in the field, that the pumpkins grow this way, they grow this way, and they don't turn them. So they're going to have a flat side. So you want one that has, you know, not that much of a flat side. You want to make sure that it's heavy for its size. That's very, very important. And you know what? When it comes to cutting pumpkins out, years ago, I used to tell you, if you've been watching the show for a long time, I used to tell you that you zigzag the top. Well, somebody wrote me one time and told me a different way of doing it, and I've been doing it for years this way. What I do is I take the pumpkin like this, and I actually cut the bottom of the pumpkin out like this. So the stem stays there and it doesn't fall through. So I cut the bottom of the pumpkin out, then I scoop it out, then I cut the pumpkin up any way that I want, you know what I mean, put the eyes in and all that stuff in. And then I put a light source, not a candle, a light source, a flashlight, anything. They have these little round light sources now that you can use, that you can put in the pumpkin, and it'll give it light. We never want to use a candle. If we use a candle, it could cause a fire. So remember, any light source. The only thing you lose on a light source is the batteries. So basically, that's what you want to look for when you're looking for a pumpkin. You know, I'll go over it real quick again. Heavy for its size, nice green stem. Don't worry if it's got a little bit of a flat side, and always, 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 if it's a little greenish on the outside, put it in a cool place. Don't refrigerate it, but put it in a cool place. And you know what? You'll have a really, really happy Halloween. I'm Produce Pete, wishing you a happy Halloween.
Oh, no, Pete, you didn't. I love him. As always, you can send your questions to Pete@ProducePete.com, and you can also find him, of course, on Facebook and on Twitter.
Having a good time there down at the patch. Well, there's a lot more ahead on Today in New York, including our team coverage of that coastal storm that is battering our area.
And trying to hold back the sea with high tide only a few hours away. I'm Brian Thompson. I'll have the report coming up.
We are the largest and most diverse school district in America.
Yet we are 1.1 million students.
1,800 schools.
Sharing one common goal.
Help all kids succeed.
We are New York City public school teachers.
Taking learning to the next level.
And parents and the community are on board.
All coming together as one.
Celebrate the passion and promise in our public schools.
I'm Michael Mogu, president of the United Federation of Teachers. Come on, join us.
Why are you here? Why are any of us here? Windows, people! Windows are the eyes into the soul of the home. Ugly soul. Don't make your life difficult. When your client needs blinds, go to Blinds to Go. With the largest selection of beautiful blinds and shades, custom-sized and guaranteed for life, they're a designer's best friend. Trust me. They make window decorating easy.
During our early fall savings sale, take 20 to 30% off all cellular shades and Cascade double shades.
Early detection is critical in fighting cancer. A misdiagnosis or other errors can have serious consequences. For almost 40 years, Jacoby & Myers has successfully represented thousands of clients, winning them the money they need to take care of themselves and their families. You fight the cancer. We'll fight for you. Jacoby & Myers, winning serious injury lawsuits since 1972. Call 1-800-264-8590.
Hey, Jan, can you take a picture?
Sure. Perfect. Now a stylish night on the town. Okay, feel the power of all-wheel drive at your fingertips. Now take in the gorgeous mountain scenery. Yes! And now?
Jan, we need that RAV4 for a test drive.
Stay fabulous.
Right now, get 0% APR on a new 2015 RAV4. Or lease RAV4 for just $199 a month.
It all starts at Toyota. Let's go places.
In Brooklyn, in 1907, 4 courageous ladies saw the despair of the poor, old, and sick, and founded what would become MJHS. Today, MJHS provides quality home care, rehabilitation and skilled nursing, and advanced hospice and palliative care for adults and children. But the values of the Brooklyn ladies still guide us. MJHS, caring every minute, every day.
Rainy Times Square here on a Saturday morning. The big issue right now as we look forward, going forward with the weather here, possible flooding along the South Shore, maybe also the Jersey Shore too. We are tracking all that for you today. I'm Gus Rosendale.
And I'm Kerry. Barrett, of course, in for Pat Battle. So let's get right to it. We'll check in with Storm Team 4's meteorologist Rafael Miranda. There already is a bit of flooding in South Jersey.
Yeah, we're seeing that coastal flooding. Tides are rising out there up until about noon. That's when tides are going to peak South Jersey, and also places like Nassau County expecting moderate tidal flooding. For the rest of us, though, it's just nasty. We have some rain, especially north and west of town. The winds are whipping, and temperatures are in the 40s. It feels like 30s. That's the kind of day we're dealt with today, so this is what you have to enjoy if you can. 50 degrees, great day to stay inside. In Eastchester, we have those showers continuing on and off throughout the morning into the afternoon. Then it gets a little better as the day goes on. The showers taper down. Winds, though, out of the northeast, 15 to 30 miles per hour, gusting up to 50 as you head south of town, probably gusting to around 40 around New York City, but still the potential there to knock down some trees and power lines, especially for Monmouth and Ocean counties. These are your highs, well below average. 44 in Bethel, up in the Hudson Valley. Now, overnight tonight, temperatures don't move all that much. They kind of stay stationary. 53, your low temperature in the city. 40s north and west of town. It's still windy. Temperatures stay steady, and the rain really tapers off. So very few showers tonight, and then improving conditions for tomorrow. But we have to get through that coastal flooding first. We'll take another look at those high tide times coming up in your full forecast. Kerry and Gus, over to you.
All right, Raph, thank you. Concerns about more beach erosion on the Jersey Shore as that coastal storm continues to move through.
Today, New York's Brian Thompson continuing our team coverage in Ortley Beach with what's happening there now. Looks like has the wind died down a little bit, maybe?
We're probably about 3 to 4 hours away from high tide right now here in Ortley Beach. I want to show you down here. You can see the tide is starting to come in now from where we were just a couple of hours. I'm going to ask my photographer, Oscar, to show you the dune line that they built here yesterday with hundreds of loads of sand that were dumped in front of this part of Ortley Beach. Let's take a look at the area in front of Joey Harrison's, which is just behind me right now, and you can see how much they tried to put the sand down there, and a lot of it is gone now after the high tide last night around midnight or a little after midnight or so. And so that's what they're dealing with down here. And of course, with the water coming in, it looks very difficult. I don't know how they're going to put any more sand in before this next high tide, but certainly people here feel that they have gotten through the worst of it right now, and they are cautiously optimistic.
I absolutely think we dodged a bullet. Once I heard it was going out west, I took a sigh of relief. Then we was concerned about some of the images I saw down in the Wildwood with their back bays getting flooded, but it looks like we were spared. It looks like the wind went out further and the wind didn't whip around as much to fill our back bays up.
Again, the construction or the dropping of sand on this beach was really repeated all up and down the Jersey Shore and beaches from Belmar, Bradley Beach, all up and down, as I should say, Monmouth Beach, for example, all because they felt that some temporary wall would mitigate some of the highest of the tides as those waves crashed ashore and protect the structures, the homes, the boardwalks that people have built over the years down here that make this area so popular with folks. This is not the extreme storm of Sandy, though, and probably by this time tomorrow, people will be breathing a very big sigh of relief. Live in Ortley Beach, I'm Brian Thompson for Today in New York.
All right, Brian, let's switch to Long Island now, where neighbors and coastal communities are closely watching those tides. Today in New York's Greg Circle continuing our team coverage from Long Beach. Greg?
Well, Gus, it's really been a wild sight here in Long Beach today. People actually running toward the crashing surf rather than away from it, and almost all of them have smiles on their faces. Let's take a look at them right now. Close to 24 surfers absolutely reveling in the high waves we're seeing this morning. Most everyone else, I think, would prefer to hide from this weather. The high winds across Long Island have left streets littered with downed trees, snapped branches, and of course, flood water. On Twitter, I've even seen photos of sailboats that were yanked from their moorings in Oyster Bay. Power lines have also fallen prey to the storm. More than 4,000 PSEG Long Island customers are without power this morning. That number has remained pretty constant all morning long. The other big issue on the island today, of course, is coastal erosion. It's a major concern on Fire Island and also here in Long Beach, where crews have erected a wall of sand here on the beach to protect against any storm surge. But again, surfers here are loving that storm surge. One guy saying it's just a beautiful, angry sea out there today.
A lot of guys are going to bring out the skis, and it'll be a good time. Today, I mean, we're blessed with waves today, too. So.
Is this like Christmas?
This is Christmas. Christmas came early. Thanksgiving, Christmas, Halloween, all into one.
It's going to be hard to get those surfers out of the water today, I think. As far as Joaquin is concerned, a lot of folks here in Long Beach and across the island relieved that that storm does not appear to be a threat. But Suffolk County officials are stressing they will continue to monitor Joaquin because even a slight turn could leave Montauk and the eastern end of Long Island in the storm's path, creating some issues out there. So they will continue to watch that. We're in Long Beach this morning. Greg Sergel, Today in New York.
All right, Greg, thank you. And on that note, you can track severe weather anytime on your smartphone. Download the News 4 Weather app. Just search WNBC on your iPad, iPhone, or also Android if you have that. Investigators are now removing evidence from the home of the gunman who shot